Mirasee.
One day, Old Man Coyote was out loping through the yellow grass. He came up on the half-decayed carcass of a dead deer. The skin had grown dry and leathery. One of the deer's rib bones poked out and it looked like a big dentalia shell. Coyote snapped it off like a dry stick and carried it along. He was growing thirsty, so he decided to pay a visit to the frog people. Hi, I'm Lisa Bloom, the story coach, and you're listening to Once Upon a Business. In each episode, we explore a story, a fairy tale, folk tale, or traditional story, so that we can discover the amazing lessons relevant for business and for entrepreneurs. The frog people had water, more than their share of water. They knew how to make dams, and they had dammed up the river and made themselves a lake. They acted like they owned the water. Anyone who wanted to drink or wash had to go to the frog people. Coyote said, "Hey there, frog people. I have here a fine dentalia shell. It's worth quite a bit. I would like to trade it for a drink, a very big drink." "Give me that shell," said the frog chief, looking it over. The frog chief did not realize it was just the rib of a dead deer. "All right, you can drink for as long as you like." "Don't worry if I take a long time," said Coyote, walking toward the dam. "I'm very thirsty, and I like to drink slowly." "Whatever," said the frog people, snickering among themselves. Bear was capable of taking a big drink. Caribou could lap up great quantities of water equal to the worth of a dentalia shell. But with a scrawny little fellow like Coyote, the frog people were really making out. Coyote went behind the dam where the water was kept in a deep lake. Out of sight from the frog people, Coyote put his head down and lapped up a nice long drink. The frog people joked amongst themselves. Time passed, more than enough time for Coyote to have taken a long, slow drink. The frog people went to check. The only sign of Coyote was a ring of ripples and bubbles at the edge of the dam. He was underwater. When he came up for air, Frog Chief called out, "Hey, Coyote, you're trying to swim. That will cost you another shell." "I'm not swimming," said Coyote. "I'm drinking the nice cool water from down deep. Just let me take one more swallow," he said, disappearing again. What the frog people didn't know was that deep under the water, Old Man Coyote was digging out the rocks at the base of the dam. All of a sudden, the water started flowing, then gushing into the valley. The whole dam caved in. The frog people were furious. "Coyote, you've ruined our dam and stolen our water," Coyote cried. "It's not right for you frogs to have all the water just because you're good at making dams. Water is meant to be shared." After that, the river flowed freely. Now anyone can go to the river to drink, to wash, or just to swim around. This is a Kalapuya tale from North America by Erica Helm Mead. Once again, we have a story that tells of animals that have human characteristics, and a story that teaches lessons that clearly we still need to learn as humans. Coyote is traditionally a trickster, but also a hero who often has the good of others in mind. In fact, Coyote can represent a vital force of restlessness and energy, moving between good and evil, human, God, and animal. It is Coyote that plays with and tests out the forms and realities of the world. In traditional oral literature of Native Americans, Coyote does not represent the animal, but instead they represent the first people, members of a mythical race who first populated our world and lived before humans existed. This puts an interesting perspective on what would seem to be a simple story. In this story, Coyote seems to have a kind of Robin Hood effect, stealing from the rich to help the poor, and starts with trickery, claiming that the deer bone is something much more valuable and fine. And the frog people, they're convinced and allow him to drink. He gets access to water, though not to drink as he suggests, but instead to secure access for all people. So he dives deep into the lake and digs a hole that will break open the dam. This is the greater good that Coyote serves in this story. There's an interesting and challenging notion in the story about fairness and social responsibility. When the frog people accuse Coyote of destroying the dam and stealing the water, Coyote declares, "It's not right for you frogs to have all the water just because you're good at making dams. Water is meant to be shared." It seems to be the opposite of how our society works. This anti-meritocracy suggests that just because a person is more able doesn't mean they should have more. While few would argue that point about water or air or sunlight, many would argue that the frogs deserve more because their skill level is greater than others. And the story begs the question, where do we draw the line? Should basic things like air, sunlight, water, should they be free for everybody? Growing up in Ireland, we didn't pay for the water. There were no water bills. And then I moved to a different country and was shocked that you had to pay for water. And of course, we're paying for the systems that provide the water to homes and so on. And yet there are many places around the world where if you're wealthy, you have a clean supply of water. And if you don't have money, you don't get clean water at all. As we work in our businesses and our vision towards creating a better world, is it possible to have equality? Is it possible that everyone would have access to all the basic things? And then the question is, what's basic? Is the meritocracy we live in a good thing? In business and the entrepreneurial world, I don't think we question this. It seems almost obvious. She who has the best ideas, is the most innovative, works the hardest and is the luckiest, shall have the greatest gains. This may make sense, yet there's a part of the entrepreneurial world that seems to suffer with this reality. It's the part that has some of the highest levels of burnout, of mental health challenges, and even high rates of suicide. Maybe it's a tenuous connection, but what if we were to strive for the greater good, like Coyote? What if we were to ensure that everyone got access to water? I see an entrepreneurial world where social justice, freedom, and political activism promotes the focus towards taking care of others, more than the focus on taking care of our individual needs and desires. In this world, we can concentrate on solving even more of the world's problems and move away from self-actualization to a model of mutual and inclusive actualization. This is the world where we discover that there is plenty for all and we can let the water flow. It's not a dream. This is a reality right now. And this story, it's a wonderful reminder of that. I'm Lisa Bloom, and you've been listening to Once Upon a Business. You can find out more about me at story-coach.com. That's story-coach.com. Once Upon a Business is part of the Mirasee FM podcast network, which also includes such shows as Blowing Up and For Better or For Work. This episode of Once Upon a Business was produced by Cynthia Lamb. Mishi Lance assembled the episode. Danny Inney is our executive producer. To catch the great episodes that are coming up on Once Upon a Business, please like and follow us on Mirasee FM's YouTube channel or your favorite podcast player. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a comment or a start review. It's the best way to help us get these ideas to more people. Thank you. We'll see you next time.